Hello everybody! We're back yet again. Welcome to the Theater 1 session. I've been doing this presentation several times. We're going to do it again. And we have brought our friend Caleb back again for another year. We're looking forward to good content. We got high marks last year. We're going to do it again.
Absolutely.
This is my worst presentation. It's my biggest fear presenting because I'm practicing constantly how to pronounce the name of the grocery store chain.
You can do it.
I'm not going to get to it yet because I want to save it for later. But, I can be wrong many, many times.
And we will acknowledge you publicly if you are.
Perfect. But thanks for everybody coming. This is Beyond the Cart. We're going to talk a little bit about technology innovation, AI innovation within grocery and retail and CPG and supply chain, a lot of fun, interesting things. The screen has been a little bit wonky, so if it gets wonky, just know that that's not our fault. Traditional elevation of implementation of Google. Google is a very important partner of yours.
Absolutely.
And you chose to move to GCP and Workspace for data gravity reasons.
Absolutely.
In other words, where data is closest to analytics?
Analytics and really about the scale. Those were the two big drivers as we've looked about. We've been on this journey for 7 years now. We've been on this journey for about 7 years now. And so as we've really ramped up, it's been about the scale and the availability of the tooling and the data all living in one ecosystem.
So you're on GCP, you're on Workspace, AI becomes important, and now you have two parallel streams. How can I enable people productivity and process productivity? Is this a 1 month journey for you? Is this a multi-year journey for you?
Everybody's already done. AI's here, we're all done, it's great. No. So as we really leaned in, we've focused on the people productivity first, enabling Workspace and really leaning in. There's a ton of work that we do. Grocery retail is still a very paper-heavy industry, right, wrong, or indifferent. And so a lot of the opportunities we were able to really lean in and train our organization on leveraging AI while we were building the skills and the technology was growing to build the more broad agents and the more robust system processes and AI-enabled workflows.
So that's the overview. Quick introductions. I'm Paul Lewis. I'm the Chief Technology Officer of Pythian, who has spent lots of quality time with our friends at Schnucks.
Well done.
Thanks. My very good friend Caleb is here to talk about the journey and the message. Introduce yourself, introduce Schnucks.
Absolutely. So Caleb Carr, I lead the data science and engineering organization for Schnucks. That is a lot of our cloud, our data science, data engineering. Schnucks is a family-owned grocery store, 4th generation, 115 stores, and we actually just acquired Festival Foods up in Wisconsin, which is another 52 stores, so the family is growing.
And each employee runs 2 stores, right?
Obviously.
So tell me about Schnucks. Like, what's the differentiation between you and other stores that nobody would shop at?
So our biggest differentiation for us really is our customer relationships. We are involved in the areas we serve. We are where we have that presence. Not only are we obviously supporting our teammates and the communities, but we also, our core mission is to nourish people's lives. And so that's through community support. That is through, we do a ton of work with our local food pantries and a lot of the different areas as well, to just really make sure that we're bringing up the whole community with us and finding ways to serve them.
So improving society, not just providing groceries.
Absolutely.
So I've been to a lot of grocery stores, and the general MO is I show up to the store with a list and then call my wife several times because I don't know what these things are on the list. I don't know how many apples I'm supposed to buy, or what grocery to go to. But I have the feeling that my shopping experience is a limited appreciation of shopping in a grocery store.
I would agree.
Tell me other things that happen in Schnucks.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we rolled out a lot of technology within the store for the shopping experience. 2.5 years ago, we went fleet-wide with electronic shelf labels. We actually now have enabled all of our customers, so we have a great list platform. We have a robot that goes up and down the aisles to map where all our products are. And so what we're actually able to do is, if you're like me and you cannot tell the difference between 50,000 spices that are all in the same little containers, you can actually blink the light and you can pick your favorite color, and you can find the purple light to find the items you're looking for, as well as leaning into things like deli order ahead and a lot of those things to just make things more convenient. and being able to share lists with your wife to make sure that we're able to make sure that shopping is a family event. Not everybody's involved all the time, but we all have different needs.
But there's things that happen in the background that are less cool and less automated, like the manual entering of product data.
There is that.
Tell us what 500 plus products per week seems like a lot of products.
It is. So if you think through the number of SKUs we're adding, it is around 500 a week on average. One of the things that's really complex about the grocery industry is we have thousands of CPGs we work with, and they're all on their own data journeys. So we have everything from faxes and printouts. Yes, we still get faxes from some of our suppliers, all the way to advanced API integrations and things along those lines. But the amount of work that is involved in supporting our customers with the right volume or the right data and making sure that your data is accurate is a really manual process.
So a bunch of people rekeying into your systems, and then there's quality potential issues on the shelf.
Absolutely, and I mean, you think through the importance of not just product descriptions, but also health claims, or if we have a product that says there's no gluten in it, we need to make sure that that is accurate. So in support of our customers, having that top tier item data is such an important part of what we do as an organization.
And are you guessing rather than using data? Are you making it up on the fly on a per store basis? Are you letting the stock staff figure out when they should order more product?
No, absolutely. So we actually have an end-to-end replenishment. We use a multiple demand forecasting models. Even something that's really interesting, weather impacts a lot of retailers. The talk of weather impacts grocery more than the actual weather. All we need is people talking about snow and everybody runs to the grocery store. It doesn't matter if it snows or not. And no, we don't pay off the local weathermen. Everybody thinks we do. But we do a ton of work to really make sure that we've got the right products, the fresh products in our stores for our customers all the time.
And how knowledgeable does all of your staff need to be, not just at the point of sale?
It really is a journey. We've got something that's really awesome. We actually just had a dinner celebrating people with 40 years of tenure at Schnucks, and had 75 teammates that attended that dinner, and that is unheard of. We have an immense number of people who their entire career is supporting our customers at Schnucks, and that is such a wonderful thing. So we have a lot of deep knowledge, but as we have new folks come into the company, some might be a college job, some people are going to make it their career, we want to make sure we enable them with all of the information. So we really focus on making sure we can provide the insights, the right information, and all of that training as well.
So a bunch of manual stuff in the background, even though it's exceptional in the front.
Absolutely.
Automation's key. Finding ways to be faster, cheaper, better is key, because the margins, I assume, are relatively thin.
They are indeed.
So you have a journey AI, and you have things you want to address. What are the things you're trying to address?
It's really about finding the opportunities to lean in and automate things to allow and free up time for our teammates to serve our customers. Mm-hmm. That's the core of our business. We want to make sure that we obviously have to run a grocery store and all of the operations around that, but building those relationships and supporting our customers is really what our whole goal is. It's about how can we, the buzzword that was going around a little while is automate the hate. We all have things in our roles that we don't want to do but need to do, and if we can leverage automation and technology to really lean in and do that, it can be so transformative.
So we started by identifying use cases. How important was it to start there? And then we'll talk about how we went through that process.
We're all technologists here in our own roles, and right now AI is a hammer and everything is a nail. And so as we've really leaned in, it was about understanding what's a quick opportunity to win, where can we focus, where is the technology matured. There are some things that AI can do really well and some things that people think AI can do really well. And so it's really about leaning in and figuring how can we as a technology team support our business by identifying those use cases, and also use that as part of the journey to train our business partners in that as well, because they're all learning and growing like we are.
So 90% of the experiments, which was most of 2025, didn't go to production for two big reasons. Big reason number one, not you personally, but people picked the wrong use case, right? They either picked the easy ones, the nickels and dimes, the 5s and 10 minutes, or they picked the really, really hard ones that require, multiple agentic models and 50 data sources and prompts that haven't been invested before. It is very complex, hard to measure type things. So we've got to find the thing in the middle. That was the first problem. The second problem is once I put it in production, I didn't really know what to do with it, right?
Absolutely.
It's an IT asset.
Yep.
But it's not a database, it's not a VM, it's not a firewall, it's a whole different series of assets I now have to deal with because it needs care and feeding. It goes bump in the night at 3 a.m.
Yes, it does.
Right? And even worse, as compared to, let's say, a database, it has accuracy change. So now I have to monitor that differently. If I'm 83% now and it goes to 81%, I probably need to know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? So picking those use cases is the first priority, right? The first thing we have to do, and we've got to get in there and say, what's the list? How do we discover it? And we tend to discover it with kind of patterns, right? We say, we've done this 100 times. We know this discrete set of pattern that probably applies to you. Did we discover those patterns? Did we find a bunch of use cases that are valuable for Schnucks?
We absolutely did. Through the partnership, we've learned in, we've done some internal development, a lot of development with Pythian as well, and it was about finding those patterns and also finding the areas of the business that had the greatest need for the support and the greatest interest, because right now it is a lot of unknown, there's a lot of excitement, but also how does this fit with my world? And so finding those business partners, not just finding the great use cases, but making sure those use cases are set up to succeed throughout the business and drive adoption, I think is really the key.
In the spectrum of adoption to a return on investment, where would you lean more in? So adoption being happiness of end user all the way to finding $1 million.
Honestly, we started with really simple use cases that were all about, we didn't focus on ROI. There was an ROI there, but we focused on let's empower people, let's show how we can drive value and get folks used to using the technology and not be intimidated by the technology. And now as we have matured and grown through this journey, it's really been more of a focus on, now that we've got that foundation, now where do we find that ROI and really add value? Okay,
let's look at some examples.
Let's do it.
Product data entry, how has that changed from taking the facts and rekeying it into the system?
So we've developed multiple agents that are really focused on that whole manual entry process. We get a lot of data. We've got multiple third-party vendors that give us data. We have a lot of data that's coming through. And so we do human-in-the-loop validation for everything. Again, that data has to be right. But being able to take what was a 15, 20-minute process to set up promotions, to set up item imagery, download item imagery, set attributions, all of that, driving that through an agentic process has meant we have humans that are focused on validating, but also able to reach out to our vendors and say, hey, we need this from you, where honestly it was much more tactical, so they're able to drive more business value in where they're focused, because they're not just hands to keyboard, they're able to keep their head up a little bit and say, hey, what else do I need to do to make sure we're serving our customers better?
And a classic agentic pattern, right? Digitized document, computer vision for the fields that matter, contextualize. Is this a product? Is this a store? Is this a CPG? Insert into system of record, notify for human in the loop.
Absolutely.
Rinse and repeat, new document.
Absolutely.
So that saved hours, minutes, days, weeks?
Hundreds of hours per week have been saved through this end-to-end, setting up all of those manual things. We have thousands of promotions we set up in a given week. So it's not just about that core item data, it's all of the things around that item set up as well.
So now I can buy ripe apples, right? We have a different set of product quality AI.
Yes, so a lot of our store teammates have handheld devices, and we are currently piloting right now, but seeing great excitement around. One of the things that's really hard for folks working in the store is you're walking through the store all the time, and it gets really easy to miss some of those little details. Not that we don't care about the details, but if you're walking up and down an aisle with apples, at some point you're just gonna be like, yeah, there's apples there. And so enabling our teammates with vision to be able to identify the quality of the produce that feeds in, and we're starting to leverage that in our supply chain to make sure we have new products coming in, but also alerting and saying, hey, those apples are not up to our customer standards. We need to pull those immediately and make sure that we have the best quality apples and then all the rest of our produce available for our customers, no matter when they choose to come in.
Is everybody empowered? Manager walks around, clerk walks around, I think there's a problem, take a picture. Is this a quality problem?
Not only that, so we have, through the pilot, we've focused on managers and department managers right now, but just more culturally in our organization. As the leader of the data science and engineering organization, if I'm in on one of our stores and I walk past an apple that is not up to our customer standards, we care about the customers over everything else. I will happily take that apple and put it back in the produce room. It terrifies the random poor people that are working in produce.
Yep.
But it is all about how can we make sure we've got that freshest produce, and that is human skill and leveraging vision AI as well.
So it's like Disney parks where I get the picker and I can get the guy away from me.
Yes.
Perfect. It's exactly the same thing.
Exactly.
Inventory and ordering, that has evolved, it's changed, it's automated, it's AI enabled?
Absolutely. So we've had, and this is one of those, it's interesting because it's been through a lot of different iterations. Obviously we had the machine learning and predictive modeling, that's nothing new. Most folks that have a supply chain in their world are focused on that. But we've also deployed Tally in our stores, so we actually have an autonomous robot with vision and other sensors that go up and down our aisles and actually identify products in the wrong place, low items on stock. We have a projection and a big impact, like I said, around weather, and starting to understand also the areas we operate, pulling in data from the internet as we're starting to understand how concerned are people about this weather. Again, because what's interesting is weather doesn't matter, people's perception of the weather does. And so understanding the human sentiment of the St. Louis subreddit, as a random example, we're headquartered in St. Louis, Missouri, and understanding what people are talking about can drive an immense amount of value and make sure that we're there to serve our customers when they need us most.
So first three innovations were computer vision.
Yes.
Interesting to note, computer vision is the most mature AI models, right? It's not even in the hype cycle anymore. It's past the hype cycle. It is out of the box foundational model usage in an agentic workflow.
Yep.
And now we will go from vision to voice. You're changing the way you interact with customers?
Yeah, so we've developed multiple agents with ADK where we're actually able to, through a headphone in our teammate's ear, if a customer asks me something, I don't never want to say I don't know. I might not know, but we know as an organization, and being able to get that real-time feedback, even where as a product and answering those questions, has been a really powerful tool, especially when you have somebody who might, again, we have a lot of people who choose to make Schnucks their career, but we also have a lot of folks who are home for a month from college and are like, hey, it's a job and I need money, this is perfect, and we love them too. And so we're enabling them with the data they need where they need it to make sure they're able to serve our customers, and then kick off processes in the back end to make sure that we are continuing to iterate on that.
And you're going to demo it right now. What aisle is the Starbucks coffee beans in?
7.
Perfect. Okay, last thing. You've innovated pretty significantly over a relatively small period of time. This is within a year, 6 months? Like a very small period of time. Since you've done that, you must have some key advice for the audience that will. Like, what's the one thing that you want them to leave with?
Data quality. And it's so easy to miss and focus on the shiny AI. If you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out. And it's not just prompt engineering. It's not just the understanding what questions you're asking. It's making sure that you have data that is accurate, well-defined. We found a couple of instances where we couldn't figure out through our experimentation why we couldn't get a good answer. Well, it's because the descriptions of the data we had was terrible. That's the simple answer. And so the model wasn't able to learn. So making sure that you have that layer, identifying not just the data quality, but the descriptions of the data, will set you up and allow you to accelerate very quickly.
10 years ago, we had a hard time doing analytics because the data was messy, siloed, and all over the place. 5 years ago, we had to do machine learning, but data was messy and siloed and all over the place. Now AI, where it's hard to do because data is messy and siloed and all over the place.
Data is hard.
So thank everybody. That's great. You can reach me at paullewiscto or Pythian.com. And where can they reach you?
Available on LinkedIn and happy to connect.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.